In another life, you'll still find me cussing unrelentlessly. You have been warned, content is not suitable for all listeners.
Welcome. You're listening to Bewitched Banter.
I'm Krista, and I believe that people are inherently shitty.
And I'm Amy, and I tend to believe that people are naturally good.
But ironically, I'm a super believer in the supernatural and all things spiritual.
And I'm a total skeptic.
We're best friends, and in this podcast, we're seeking to explore and understand each other's perspectives with deep dives into the spooky, the spiritual, the magical, and the mystical.
And some straight up spoofs.
Today, we'll be covering some varying beliefs around the world, and I believe religions in reincarnation.
Cheers to that. A virtual cheers since you're in Chicago.
Let me get my iced tea.
Okay. Chin chin.
Chin chin. Let's get spiritual. Definitely with reincarnation.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very heavy spiritual centric episode.
Wow, I'm super stoked. Let's see what you got, my skeptic. I'm stoked. Well, do you believe now in reincarnation? We'll get to it maybe, but I'm like, I need to know. I need to know now.
I will say this. Do I believe in it? No. But am I saying that with 100% certainty? No. 99% no, but maybe it could be plausible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do tell.
I mean, I'm gonna say that with anything though. There could be a flying like unicorn. That is a possibility.
My niece Mila is 2 and she is like obsessed with unicorns right now. And so I asked her today, it's like, Mimi, what, because we call her Mimi for short. Mimi, what do you want for Christmas? Unicorn. I'm like, I don't know if I can make that happen, but Santa might be able to.
Give her a stuffed animal unicorn.
She got like 10 already. I'm like, girl. But she has a really cute unicorn backpack. Like, oh my God, I can't. I'm so cute. You got me sidetracked on unicorns.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to say that I have the same amount of belief in reincarnation as I do with a unicorn that farts rainbows, basically.
Like the Squatty Potty logo?
Yeah. But
you've seen that, right?
No.
Oh, so you know the Squatty Potty though, right?
I mean, it's like the thing that helps kids squat on the potty, right?
And adults, but they, for their commercial, it was a unicorn shitting rainbow.
Oh, okay.
But do I believe, is that what you're going to ask?
Yes.
I want to so badly. I really do on this one. But as I said in our last episode or two, I struggle. Of all the things I believe in, this is the one thing I struggle with the physics on. I don't know why.
But ghosts make total sense.
Yes, they do to me because that's energy. So I suppose if I'm going with that logic, then reincarnation would make sense. I don't know. I struggle, but in my story I'll get into later this week, I will kind of cover like this child, and I don't know. I guess I struggle with how could a child so young know some things about some things. So anyway,
I do think though it's human nature, like when the unexplained can't be explained, that we jump to these like paranormal conclusions, like it was a ghost.
Who does that? Me? No.
Yeah, it was a ghost, or it was like, oh, that lady's a psychic. She has these paranormal powers, but sometimes I feel like there's more of an explanation. We can't explain why.
Right.
And I'm not surprised you really don't believe in reincarnation, because I do cover this. It's more foreign concept to Western cultures than it is to Eastern cultures.
Probably because we only believe Jesus is the only one going to be reincarnated, at least Catholic and Christians. But
yeah, so it's not really part of our culture, whereas in other parts of the world, it's heavily a part of their culture and it's more widely accepted.
Okay.
So I guess like I'm not surprised, but then that leads me to my second question. If you had to be reincarnated and you somehow were lucky enough to get a choice, would you choose to be reincarnated as a person, an animal, or a plant? What would you choose?
Ooh, I think a dog, man. How many times do we say dog's life? Rub my belly, wipe my ass, pick up my poo, let's sleep all day. I think that's what I want to do as a human,
See, I like that idea, but as a pet, you have no choice on who adopts you and who is your parent. So I would never choose to be reincarnated as a any kind of animal that's kept as a pet, because humans can be awful to pets.
So I would not. That's true. Goddamn, the Sarah McLachlan commercials, those fucking animals. Oh my God, I can't even think about it without crying.
I do think it'd be cool to be reincarnated as a bird, to actually have the chance, and I hope to God that I wouldn't be somehow that one bird that ended up being someone's pet, because I think that's evil. Like, you should not put a bird in a cage.
Pretty bird.
But I think it'd be cool to be able to fly and you like migrate to different places. I mean, that'd be pretty awesome. I think that would be my choice. I probably want to be an ugly bird, so there's no chance of people wanting to use me or have me as a pet. I want to be an ugly bird.
Be a macaw or toucan or
no. I want to be an ugly bird in my next life that's left alone.
The crows have eyes, David.
I'm so close to finishing Schitt's Creek. Anyway, how has Chicago been?
It's been great. Like about a week ago when I first got here, it was bizarre. It was like 60 degrees. It was warmer here than it was in Phoenix. And it was like real spooky, eerie. I'm going to post it on our page later. I forgot, like raising 2 kids. I'm like this week, basically. God love them though. Anyway, it was like spooky and stormy and rainy and drizzly. It looked like a Halloween spooky night versus like Chicago cold. Now today it just started getting freaking freezing, which, as you know, had to wait in a fucking COVID test line for an hour and a half in 30-degree weather, which you know Phoenicians do not effing do.
30 degrees and you're out there in an hour and a half.
Yep. Thankfully.
Was this like, this is why I live in Phoenix?
100%. Exactly what I kept saying. That's my week. Again, been raising kids like all week because part-time single mom, divorced mom. But so I just been doing TT daycare and TT school. So it's been really fun actually to spend some TT with the babes. How about you? Have you seen your nephew at all?
Yeah, we went out to lunch and then I haven't been up there because my dad was sick. So we weren't going to chance of us getting sick. Right. So I'll go up there tomorrow night and spend like the whole week with my family.
Nice. Well, thank God your dad doesn't have COVID. I do not either, everyone. Thank God. But I was in contact with someone who did. And so had to take the protocols, which I absolutely did. And thank God in Illinois, they take shit a little more seriously than they do, thanks to our Governor Ducey, in Arizona. But, hey.
I know. I feel so bad for so many people who are getting COVID right before Christmas. I'm like, what a lonely Christmas spending it all by yourself. So if you are spending Christmas by yourself, we are sorry.
Oh, I'm getting my booster tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah, you need to. They said that you need the trifecta.
Okay.
For this new variant.
Well, I'm getting it, girl. Ooh,
hopefully in our next life, COVID doesn't exist. That's what I'm going to say. If reincarnation does exist, I hope COVID doesn't follow me there. But right now I'm feeling like it might follow me 10 lifetimes.
Segue, girl. Yeah. I hope not either. I hope this shit never happens to any species. Damn, it's like, it just sucks.
It does. Let's get into reincarnation, though. Something a little bit more fun than COVID, right? Because I feel like everyone's probably tired of hearing about COVID.
Sorry, those of you who are at home by yourselves, quarantined.
Okay, to a more fun topic, reincarnation can also be called transmigration or metempsychosis. We all kind of know the fundamental idea of reincarnation is that the belief that a soul or some aspect of the soul is going to be born again into a new life. And what I'm really going to be covering is there's several different cultures and several different religions, and they all have varying views of reincarnation. Earlier, when you were saying like reincarnation's the one thing you can't wrap your head around, and I was saying that
I know of all the things I believe, the one thing I just can't.
I know that's the one thing I think I could a little bit understand a little bit more.
I don't know. Don't ask me. Don't at me. Don't ask me and don't at me.
Are people at youing right now?
Thank God, not yet. We're not that famous yet. We ain't even please let me stop. Stop. We don't have those kind of problems yet. Thank God.
We are like there's like D-list celebrities. We're not even to
bitch, we're on Z.
That's what I was gonna say. We're not even on the alphabet yet.
Oh damn, that's even worse than letter C.
We nobodies. Maybe in our next life. But basically what I was saying is that reincarnation is a foreign concept to people in the Western hemisphere, but actually 1.25 billion people identify as being Buddhist or Hindu. And they're the two main religions that believe in reincarnation. So basically, there's a shit ton of people out there who believe in reincarnation. It's just not part of our culture.
Got it.
Most religions here that are practiced, Christianity, Judaism, Islam.
Oh, Islam doesn't
religions.
believe in it? Interesting.
No.
For some reason, I would think that they do, but okay. Interesting.
Then these religions tend to not believe in karma, which is a huge component of reincarnation.
Okay.
Christianity and Judaism, they believe in afterlife. So they are skeptical of reincarnation being a real thing.
Got it. Right. Because they want you to buy into the belief of heaven.
And we don't know how the concept of reincarnation, how it was formed, because it's so old, right? Reincarnation was mentioned in early ancient Greek philosophy, and Celtic druids, which I can't seem to say.
You got it.
Would teach the concept of reincarnation. A druid was a member of a high-ranking class in ancient Celtic cultures, and they used to be like religious leaders, medical professionals, the ruling elite. And this dates back to the 4th century, and they have proof that they would teach that as part of like their doctrine.
Cool.
And reincarnation is the central idea of most Indian and Eastern religions. Like I said, Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism, and Sikhism. And majority of paganism also believe in reincarnation.
Oh, that's badass. I haven't gotten that far in my literature study.
I thought it was interesting that a lot of Indigenous people in Australia and the Americas also believe in reincarnation too.
Well, if you think about like natives or Indigenous peoples here, that when we were going to school, and God knows it's revisionist history, but they used to always talk about honoring the animals because they believed in thanking them so that they could get back, the fur and the meat and the, tools and bones from the animals that they used.
But so most of these religions I'm mentioning, they all share the belief that reincarnation is like an endless cycle of the soul dying and living and being reborn and then taking on a new form. And the process of reincarnation is called samsara. And it's the continuous cycle of just the soul being born again, dying again. And it doesn't end until each religion has their own idea of how a soul can reach this. But basically, it won't end until the souls gain spiritual insights that allow them to have freedom from like this cycle. So it's like,
whoa,
over and over and over again. And each religion has its own idea of how you escape this cycle as a soul.
Okay, gotta repeat the lesson is in a lot of, and that's one thing we actually do say, right? Like in our culture is like, you gotta repeat it to learn it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of a huge takeaway. It's like each time the soul is learning a little bit more.
Okay. See, that part I dig. That's the part I'm like, all right, we're cells and memory and our cells don't lose those memories. That part I follow, but like, I don't know. Anyway, now I'm in my head about it and how it works.
Well, I think it's okay if you don't know. I think a lot of these things, like if you were like 100%, I believe in this, I've like, that's kind of weird. I think the best way to be is like quite open-minded questioning. Could these things be real? But in most Indian religions, the repetitive act of the soul being reincarnated, they believe that a person can seek liberation through leading a life where they have like high morals, they're contributing to society in a good way. Mm-hmm. And they can also seek liberation or freedom from samsara, the vicious cycle of die, relive, die, reborn, right?
Okay.
Through meditation, yoga, or some other spiritual practices. It is the ultimate spiritual goal to have a soul released from the reincarnation cycle. So everyone, that's what they want. Like, you don't want to be in that vicious cycle.
Okay. So you just want to be a soul free roaming some time and space that probably we just can't comprehend as humans. Got it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it.
And when a soul is released from the cycle, it's also called like Nirvana. So they reach Nirvana.
Got it.
Which I covered in the yoga episode.
Hello,
and then
hello. Sorry, how to do it.
I don't get it.
It's a song. Nirvana song.
Oh, duh. Okay. I was like, I'm not following.
Okay.
And it can also be called Mokshu, Mukti, and Ki Avila. And it really depends on the religion.
Okay.
But I mean, I think like in Buddhists, we talked about like the ultimate thing everyone wants to reach is nirvana. Mm-hmm. In the Hindu doctrine, they are taught that people should strive to get out of the endless cycle of reincarnation. And when a soul is able to escape this cycle, they refer to it as achieving mokshu. Whereas in the Buddhist religion, it's a nirvana. So they have different terms for what they call it.
Mokshu. Okay, cool.
In the Hindu religion, they believe when you are reincarnated, the quality of life that you can expect in your next future life depends on the karma you built in your prior life. So it's like, okay, if you murdered someone, expect your next life is going to be kind of shitty, right? Or if you were like,
or you're going to get murdered. I don't know. There's some karma.
Yeah. Or if you were like volunteering, helping everyone out, like you probably have nothing to worry about because the next life you're going to lead is going to be great. And the central belief of Hindu and many of these Indian religions, like every action has a result, like consequences for your actions, right? But they do preach that being reincarnated is not seen as a form of punishment. They don't.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a form of punishment. They're not like, it's not like hell, like you're sent to hell, kind of like we discussed, to be punished. It's more that you are given the opportunity to live another life cycle because your soul still has something to learn. So you're not being punished. And they also believe that the soul is being reborn because you truly haven't lived your life in a way that would be what I would call Hindu approved or endorsed. Like you haven't lived, you haven't lived like the truest Hindu life of what you could achieve, I guess.
Okay. And so you're living your best Hindu life.
Yeah. Like you can keep striving for more, basically.
Oh my God, I love it.
But to make things in my head, like I read this, I was like, what? Okay. The Hindu religion believes that you can't attain mokshu, where you leave this cycle, right? If an individual is actively striving or making efforts toward reaching mokshu, you're not going to get there. So it's like,
it has to be a subconscious thing.
But you can't think about it. Like it has to be something that just happens, which I think makes it, to me, I'm like, what? That makes it.
Well, then people are going to obsess about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And they believe the only way you can reach salvation and freedom is when a person has like abandoned all efforts, all desires, and accepts that their individual is the same as the universal soul or God. So somehow you, as a human, you're supposed to do that. I don't know how. Don't ask me why. Seems to me like some kind of game that you can never win. You know, like you get to a certain level and you're like, you have to just quit the game. To me, that's kind of how
Candy Crush. I never got anywhere in that mofo. Did you?
I got really far, but then at a certain point you just stop playing and then if you don't play for a while, I noticed you would beat the level because they want to pull you back in. So that is the Hindu beliefs. Now we're going to talk more about Buddhist beliefs. Okay. They share a lot of the same beliefs as the Hindu religion, but they vary a little bit. They believe, and I think this is something maybe you could get behind, is when someone dies, it's the energy that's moving on to another form.
You know, I get behind that. Hell yeah.
And they also, again, a lot of these religions believe in karma, and they believe that your actions have consequences, and it can, again, lead to a better rebirth. Or if you had bad actions, it's going to lead to the opposite of a good rebirth, right? And they teach the same thing, that don't fear death. If you live a good life, we promise the next life will treat you well. And I kind of always imagined that a soul would pass, and then I guess I never really thought about it, but they would instantly be reborn. But this is not the belief that most Buddhists have about reincarnation, which I thought was really interesting, that they have a belief that reincarnation can take a long time for it to happen. And it depends on the branch. Like one branch had like weird days set after the death that they believe someone could be reincarnated.
So like a portal.
And they said it all
almost kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it all depends on like the degree of the development of the soul. Like, so how mature you were as in your soul. Like,
so this will not surprise you, but I was once called a new soul by a psychic. I saw it up in Sedona.
Oh my God.
Again, not surprising. But think about it. Think about how clumsy I am and all the shit I'm learning now in my relationship that I will never fucking repeat. You know what I mean? I think I'm a new baby soul. I'm just saying.
How much did you pay for that?
I think like $100. And that was like when I was in college too.
They told you're a new soul.
No, they told me a lot of other things, and good things actually. But this was, I definitely could not afford $100 back then. I still fucking shouldn't, but I could now, thank God. But it was $100. But I remember very specifically, she said something about being a new soul, and I was like, So
is she calling you immature?
She could have been. It could have been a slight that I didn't know.
That could have been a psychic, like, nice way of telling you you're immature. You need to grow up a little bit.
It could have been. But whatever.
According to this psychic, you might have not had a very developed soul. So you might, like, according to some Buddhist branches, you might have waited a few hundred years to pass for you to be reincarnated. Or some branches believe that it can take up to 1,000 to 2,500 years for reincarnation to happen.
Fuck. I got a ways to go for my lessons. Let me tell you what.
You're like, this girl is going to wait a millennia. She's going to be waiting a long time.
Damn.
And in the Buddhist belief, they depending on how an individual led their life, they could be reincarnated into the following forms. So each religion has different ideas of what you could be reincarnated into. And they believed, I thought this was really interesting, you could do rebirth as a human, an animal. They believed you could be reincarnated as a ghost or a god.
A god. Sign me up for goddess. Thank you.
And they actually believe it's very rare for someone to be reincarnated as a human. And when this off chance does happen, because it's so rare, they believe that this is a chance for the soul to actually escape the samsara cycle. When someone's reincarnated as a human, they're going to stand a better chance of reaching nirvana.
Cool. So that's why it's so hard probably to be.
Yeah, because most of the time you're probably just a plant on a mountain by yourself.
Man. Oh, that sucks. See, no, I can't be alone. That I know about my soul.
But you would be with the other reincarnated plants.
But what if you're like the only plant for like 100 miles?
Well, you wouldn't have much of a choice. Should have lived a better prior life.
But what if I was a plant prior and I still became a plant?
And then you didn't leave a great plant life.
I didn't provide fruits for my animals.
Yeah, you weren't releasing like CO2 to help humans and all that good stuff. But they believe so when someone reaches nirvana, right? That the Buddhists and soul that's recycled or not recycled, reincarnated. Well, they are basically recycled. You what, right?
Yeah.
But they think that they can truly see the world for what it really is. They can't really see reality until this happens.
At nirvana?
At nirvana.
Okay.
And then when they reach nirvana, they reach the samsara has ended, the cycle of them being reborn again.
Cool.
And when they reach nirvana, they also accept the Four Noble Truths, which I'm going to go over. And this is the basic essence and core of Buddha's teachings.
Oh, cool.
These are the four principles that Buddha came to understand when he was meditating under a Bodhi tree. So the Four Noble Truths are 1, the truth of suffering. 2, the truth of origin of suffering. 3, the truth of the sensation of suffering. And then 4th is the truth of the path to cessation of suffering. Okay, so we're all asking what the hell is Amy talking
it's a lot
about?
of suffering there, Buddha.
But I'm going to explain because I didn't type that out and write that and think, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, same. Thank you. Please explain, Miss Holt.
Yes, I'm going to put this in terms we can understand. So often the Buddha is compared to like a doctor, right? The first 2 noble truths, he has diagnosed the problem, which is suffering that humans have. And in the second truth, he is able to identify the cause.
Okay.
So the third noble truth is the realization that there's a cure for suffering. And the 4th noble truth, Buddha sets out a path, which is called the Eightfold Path, which is basically like a prescription from the doctor that's going to show you the way for a person to be released from any suffering they may have.
Oh, that's cool. All right. And okay, great analogy. Thank you. That makes a hell lot more sense.
Yeah, I didn't understand the 4, but I thought I should read them anyway.
No, really good. I'm glad you did.
Okay. Some Buddhists believe they can go on and help others to be enlightened as well. Like they can choose to keep going through the samsara cycle. But others believe, like, it's not uniform what they all believe. Some believe that the soul is enlightened and basically the individual has no need to exist anymore. So that's the end of their existence. Like, they've reached nirvana, like peace. I don't need to be here anymore.
Yeah, thank God. One day, let's all float away like that, man. Ah, God. I fantasize about that a lot, of just like not being in the human form and just like being free to just do whatever the fuck, you know? I don't know. I'm just like human suffering. I'm going on a philosophical tangent here.
Are you trying to say goodbye to all of us on human Earth?
I don't know. I just think how cool it would be to be not bound to the human body. Yeah, that was a deep one there. Woo.
I thought you were gonna be like, this is my 13 reasons why. The end. Another group of people that believe in reincarnation, like I said, is Indigenous people of America.
Yay.
And some of this I want to preface, a lot of this is generalization. So there might be some Buddhists who don't even believe in reincarnation. It's a pretty open key concept of the religion, but I just want to put that out. Most of these things I'm painting with a broad brushstroke.
Yeah, got it. Makes sense.
But before we dive into reincarnation, kind of like what you said at the beginning, I want to discuss how they view the soul. They believe in is what they call a free soul. They believe that the soul is the carrier of the human consciousness, and they believe that the soul is part of the body, but also separate. And a common belief is that the soul is able to temporarily leave the body while the body can be sleeping, in a trance, or on what they call a vision quest, which I looked up quickly is just like a spiritual journey.
Yeah, people do that shit on ayahuasca all the time.
Yeah.
I got you.
And the soul can permanently leave the body when someone passes away. They believe then the soul can move through the spiritual world before the cycle of reincarnation takes place.
Okay.
And then some Native American tribes believe that one soul can incarnate into more than one body, which I thought was a really cool concept that I've never really thought about. I always thought of the concept of like you're born into one soul, but they believe that sometimes the soul can incarnate in several bodies, and a body can be made of more than one incarnated soul.
Whoa.
And some believe that
I do not like. That creeps me out real bad. I don't know why, but it really does.
Like you got voices in your head?
Yeah, I don't know, but
maybe that's why you're such a new soul, because you only have one reincarnated soul.
Could be.
Not wise like me, who has probably like 10 souls inside me.
Oh,
so wise. But yeah, they believe basically like up to 5 souls can incarnate it into one body.
Wow.
Which I've never really thought about before. I just thought it was like transactional, one soul for one body. I guess I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, it's still creeping me out, but yeah, it is. It's fascinating.
Yeah, so the human tribe believes that only twins or people with physical deformities can be reincarnated, and they're from the Colorado River Valley. I don't want to talk down about any religion, but I wasn't sure about this. They view these people as what they call visitors, and they'll have the opportunity to be reborn to live a quote unquote normal life.
Oh, yeah, no, that's ableism right there.
I wasn't so into that one, but that is from what I read. If you know better, please educate me.
Yeah, please email us, bewitchedbanter@gmail.com. And
the Inuit tribe that live in mostly like Greenland, Canada, and Alaska. And the Inuit tribe believes all things in nature, like you said at the top, animals, inanimate objects such as a leaf contain a soul. And one belief they have about reincarnation is that it's different from other beliefs. Is that souls only reincarnate within the same family. So it's like an heritage thing or ancestral thing. So when a baby is born in the tribe, they're believed to be reincarnated family members who have recently passed away.
Oh, that's
so in this tribe, this is why sometimes they will refer to the new baby as a father or uncle or whoever they believe the baby was in the previous life that was reincarnated into this new life.
Whoa. That's
really
cool.
You don't find that creepy?
No. I think that's sweet, actually. I don't know. You know, I'm all about ancestral stuff, so I like that.
I think I could see that being cool because all of us have a little bit of our ancestors we haven't probably even met just by genetics and what our parents have taught us, and it's like kind of passed down through each generation. So I get that. I think that's cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's really cool.
And so when the child in this tribe is born, they're typically given over 15 ancestral names. And this practice is to help extend the life of those who have passed away. And they don't see names just as names, but they see them as like spiritual associations with their ancestors.
So cool. See, I dig that.
And then 2 tribes in Alaska, the Tlingit and Haida, believe that the burial process of a loved one can determine the reincarnation process. So for this reason, they always cremate the bodies. They believe that's the best way to do it, to honor the soul and allow them to be able to have a successful rebirth. And they burn the dead until only the bones remain. And for this reason, when they hunt, they do like They go to great lengths to make sure that when they kill an animal, they're not destructing any of their bones, because they have a belief that if they like the animal's bones were to be broken, the animal wouldn't stand such a good chance at reincarnation.
Wow.
And they want to honor the animal and allow it to have that chance to have a successful rebirth.
I love that.
And then going back to the science community, which you probably all didn't think I was going to talk about too much. And
I didn't. I was like, wow, she's going Krista on us here.
But in the 1920s, a doctor named Stevenson, he formed the Division of Perceptual Studies. And he was inspired because as a child, he was often like sick with bronchitis, right? So he had like several
bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that. Sorry.
I have never had. What's that from? I don't even know.
You know, Amy. So I got bronchitis, lady. Girl.
Who's that?
Ain't nobody got time for that. Oh, honey, I gotta take you to church after this.
Okay. So anyway, he's got bronchitis and he's spending hours in bed. And his mom, for some reason, had a lot of books about Eastern religion, and that's where he learned about reincarnation. And as a child, he had like this fascination with it, right? And he went on to study. He's really smart, biochemistry, psychosomatic medicine, and he was trained in psychiatry. I can't talk. Psychiatry and psychoanalysis.
Wait,
and
so did he join a sex cult too? Like,
no.
What's his face?
No.
Jack Parsons?
No, not at all. But I mean, he's also a weird guy. So he was named the chairman of the Department of Psychiatry at the University of Virginia in 1957. This is when he kind of started to revisit like his whole obsession with like the paranormal he had from when he was a child. And he started to study parapsychology, which I had no idea what that was, but it's the study of mental abilities that seem to go against or be outside the known laws of nature and science.
Oh, Alison Dubois, the psychic I covered for Psychic Solving Crimes way back when, she was studied by a parapsychologist who I believe his name was Gary Schwartz down in Tucson. And so, and you asked, about psychic kids and what I would do if they said, "Mommy, I saw grandma or a ghost or whatever." I would take them to a parapsychologist. Frankly, I would. Yes.
You don't think they're like quack scientists?
It depends. Okay, so it depends
I'd
what my kid is seeing.
A therapist.
Well, therapist first, for sure. Like to make sure there's no underlying actual medical problems. And if there was not, then I would take them to a parapsychologist. I would start with an actual child psych.
I would first go to the doctor, then a therapist.
All the medical Yes.
Yeah.
I would do it in that order.
You wouldn't think I'm to the palm reader right away?
No, not off the bat.
But this dude, so he basically studied 44 cases of individuals around the world who had memories of past lives. And he noticed a big trend. And he said it was mostly that it was young children ranging from the ages of 2 to 5 who had the most vivid and detailed memories of another life that they never had led. So he'd spend time with these children, like interviewing them, and they would like have vivid memories of places they've traveled or people they encountered, but they really had never met. And he also had a few children who had birthmarks that corresponded with stories that they told them of a past life where they were injured.
Whoa.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. But so now let's see where he got his client base. He got most from Asia, where the belief of reincarnation is really present. So he was kind of finding the people who believed in it already.
Got it. Confirmation bias, as they call it in the
that's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Community. You're welcome.
But in his lifetime, he studied over 2,500 different cases. This is why when you asked me if I believed in reincarnation, I kind of stole what he had. He stated that he was never striving to prove that reincarnation was real, but he wanted to show it could be plausible. So
see, that's my whole point. Thank you.
I never said with 100% certainty. I'm saying 99% certainty. I don't believe in most of this stuff, but not surprising. The scientific community did not really back up Stevenson. He didn't really get the support.
Yeah, of course.
They kind of looked at him as like being biased, not telling the whole story. And when he did pass away, he decided to purchase a lock. And he thought if he was to be reincarnated into another soul, he would hope that the lock, someone, whoever, like the new body form that would take on Stevenson, would be able to open the lock. So the lock is placed in a file cabinet in the Division of Perceptual Studies, still there.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Where the hell is this thing then? Okay.
To honor his life. But if you can imagine, dun, 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 it's never been opened. And that is
he's waiting 1,000 years. I don't know.
I know, but will the world even be around then?
No, fucking at this rate, no.
I know. It feels like that.
Oh, no. We will destroy ourselves long before we're able to come back to ourselves. So, yay, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everyone.
But who knows? The lock might still survive the apocalypse, and maybe a new soul will come and unlock that cabinet, but we just won't be around to know about it.
Or an alien species. Who knows?
It's plausible.
That's right. Maybe not. Hey, who knows?
But yeah, that is reincarnation in a nutshell.
Oh, wow. No, that was fascinating. Really good job. The whole kid thing I'll get into later this week, but that shit freaks me out too. Like, why is it?
I know. I watched some YouTube videos about reincarnation stories, and there's one where this kid believed he was like reincarnated as Anne Frank. It was pretty interesting, and I mean, I can see why this is an idea that's been around for years and years and years, though.
Absolutely, it's just another way, like you were saying, as you're going through your history as the devil, for humans to organize the chaos in this universe that that we cannot absolutely control, just is. That's one. And number two, as we get more civilized, to control ourselves, like to make sure we behave, right? So like same with the religions I covered last week, the Abrahamic religions all have these tenements: behave or else you're going to hell, or we won't go to heaven. Either way, I know Jews again don't believe in hell, but you won't reach paradise if you act poorly in life. And then in what you just said so beautifully, in reincarnation or Buddhism and Hinduism, you have to be a good person to get reincarnated as a human. So I don't know. It's just like, again, a way for people to make sense of the chaos, and then also just make sure that we don't act like complete anarchists and animals, right? That separates us, quote unquote, from the animals. So
no, I totally agree, because I feel like it is like most religions, when you look at them, because they are ancient practices, is probably a way to get society, like you said, to behave. I mean, you said it perfectly. It's just like hell was a deterrent. Like if you are hellion here, you're going to be in hell. And then the same if you're like acting up, causing hell, you're going to have a hellish next life.
Ooh,
but
nice.
Reincarnated, basically. Yeah, so I can see. I mean, would you prefer the idea of reincarnation, or do you like the idea of an afterlife?
Oh God, I love both, to be honest with you. I know that sounds like a cop out, but afterlife I have always believed in some form, and whether that does take the form of reincarnation or not, because it's just a life continued. So it's a life after your other life, right? So I don't know. I love both thoughts, but I guess I have to go with what I've always known, because I'm comfortable with that, afterlife. Because it's supposedly guaranteed heaven, paradise, whatever. Whereas now if you were reincarnated, then you can end up like, I don't know. There's no guarantee that I won't be that plant on the mountain 100 miles away from other plants, So how about you?
I like the idea of reincarnation. Like what I like about it, it's all about like learning. And I feel like a lot of the monotheistic religions view the afterlife almost as like a punishment. Like, hey, you made it. You either go to heaven or you go to hell. And I like the idea of their belief is more like, oh, so you screwed up. Let's give you another chance to get it right this time. Let's learn and evolve as a soul. And I feel like, to me, that's much more of a beautiful idea than this afterlife where some organized religions believe like only certain people can get in. The rest of you will pay for an eternity, which we kind of discussed in our last episode.
Oh my God, Miss Cole, I changed my answer.
Oh, did I inspire you?
You did. I'm doing this because this is what Teddy was doing all week with his teacher, and like their little cute friends with their headphones on Google Meets or Classrooms.
Yeah.
Miss Hall. Yeah, I totally changed my answer. You did inspire me because it's more forgiving. And frankly, the path that I'm working on, my healing path, is very much more aligned with Buddhism and Hinduism ideals and, learning again. I think to your beautiful point, it's all about learning and being better.
Yeah. So I just think to me, it sounds more like more forgiving religion, more accepting, more like, hey, just you got to keep learning until you get where you need to be. Where I feel like from the Christian teachings I know, and I know it's easy to generalize because a lot of people have different beliefs, but from what I've learned, it's kind of like, hey, you get this one chance in your life on earth, and if you screw it up, you might pay for an eternity, which feels like to me very harsh. I feel like I definitely would go with more of and like nirvana seems like a beautiful thing to reach.
Mm-hmm, sure
like
does.
You have reached the peace. You don't really have any desire, any greed, or any of the things that kind of just make us human. You kind of relieve all that, and your soul is like, okay, I fully existed.
Yeah.
Time for me to go. So you've like truly peaked, I guess.
Peak soul.
Yeah.
Working on my fitness.
I thought it was cool though. Like I knew some of this, I knew the basic concepts of reincarnation, but I thought what was more interesting to me was the varying beliefs, like where some religions believe like you could only be reincarnated as a human, where some believe like you could become like an inanimate object. And I like the idea of I don't know why I always thought it'd be like you die and then you're reborn instantly, but the idea of it can take like years and years. And I also thought it was interesting that they have the belief that some souls, like one person is like in several souls, which I thought was interesting too.
No, I totally agree. Fascinating and really good job, because I don't know, I had a lot of different thoughts, but you brought it to like a whole awesome new level. So thank you.
What were your thoughts?
I didn't know that, again, like it could take that long. I was with you, and I didn't know that multiple souls could, in some beliefs, be in one body. That's still creeping me out. I'll be real. I don't know why that creeps me out, but it does. But yeah, no, thank you so much. That was awesome.
Sweet. Yeah. So that was like just a short highlight, but Thursday, we're going to each be doing our own stories that involve reincarnation. So make sure you tune in. And if you enjoyed the episode, please leave us a review. And we hope you had a good Christmas, because I know this is launching right after Christmas. Yes. We are recording early just to give ourselves a week off. And we hope you had a good time with your family, your friends. Or my hairstylist today was telling me, he was like, I am spending the day alone. I'm going hiking. I'm going to go eat at a Chinese restaurant by myself. And he's like, I don't want to be around any humans. And I was like,
I am so here for that on New Year's Eve. Oh my God. Fuck yes. Note to self. That's what I'll be doing on New Year's Eve.
Oh, I will. New Year's Eve. I already have it planned. Queer Eye is coming out. So I'm hoping to spend the evening with Corey in my PJs on my couch.
Maybe a gummy or two. Food. I'll have a gummy or 5, and eating good food and a hot
and then tea. I want to go on a hike the next day, because I liked when I did that last New Year's. So that was really nice.
Love that.
Hopefully there'll be snow, because last time I went, there was snow on the mountains in Phoenix, and it looked so cool.
Oh, wow. Yeah, snow in Phoenix is always so fun and special, but rare, as we know. But anyway, hope you guys have a wonderful had a wonderful holiday. And also, if you have any reincarnation stories that you heard over the family Christmas dinner table or wherever, from grandma and grandpa or whatever, share them with us at bewitchedbanter@gmail.com. Love to hear whatever you guys think about reincarnation.
Okay, well, on that note, should we say peace, bewitches? Thanks for listening. Please rate and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and anywhere you listen to your podcasts. Check us out on Instagram or bewitchedbanter.com. Suggestions for the show? Email us at bewitchedbanter@gmail.com. Credits, music, Phantom Fun by Jonathan Boyle from premiumbeat.com. Podcast edited and produced by Krista Hinds and Amy Holt.